Yes, go ahead.
So we just entered the nice city, and I've been promised to be able to take off the dwarven head if he turns out to be a bad guy.
And that's where we are.
This is going to be a disaster.
Yep. And you said it was like noon?
Yep.
Well, let's find Barnibus. I get off the first, like, either town guards or workers that I can see.
So you see the fish market is in
Full swing.
like it's in full swing with people buying. They're not loading cargo from the docks because it hasn't got here yet.
Mhm.
But yesterday's catch is now selling because people are mostly inclined to go do their shopping in the morning, right? But the
Mhm.
fish doesn't get in until usually like the end of the day, maybe at least the afternoon, and it hasn't come in yet.
Well, fish
And
are
certainly
smelly.
none of the other food. Yeah, the fish are smelly.
And I
The
don't like
other
that.
food stuff hasn't arrived at all. Maybe there's some like a couple fishing boats that have come back, but it's pretty early.
Are there any like guards or people that would be good to talk to about finding places in the city?
Yeah, so when you get into, so like as you walk up the dock, the harbor master sort of, or the dock master rather, gives you like a nod. You know, you've already paid. He knows, so you're good. And you walk past him, and that's like here. And
Okay.
then you get out and you see these buildings are mostly for taking in goods, and the fish market is here.
Okay.
When we
And it's-
disembark, I tell him I hope he only hauls hay for the rest of his life.
I talk to the dock master and I'm like,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
All right, the dock master has nodded to you, and
would you perhaps know how I could get in contact with Barnibus? I hear he is the lord of this town, and we've business with him. My friend here, and I pat Gilbert on the shoulder, he's a halfling noble, and we've heard that there's potential work for us. / building of relations. Not that you need to know any of these things that I'm telling you right now, but can you hook me up with Barnibus, you know? Give us a little in. Or know someone might.
he looks at you.
I try and look my most and noblest. Out of curiosity, did Wesley ever finish my ring?
Nope.
Not yet.
Okay.
So he looks at you like you've got 3 heads, and he says, "How am I supposed to know how to get in contact with the Lord?
Well,
I work at the docks. I literally just take money for the people who come here."
well,
to
you
the
seem
docks.
like an important figure. Do you know where the
I'm real
courtyard
important.
of the lodge are, or what part of town they reside, or if there's like a guard somewhere? You don't need to know him yourself. Can you just put me in the right direction?
He looks at you and goes, "As Lord of the Docks, I can tell you." He's being very sarcastic.
Mhm.
As Lord of the Docks, I can tell you that the Lord lives in one of the larger buildings over by the school, and excuse me, I lied. He lied. He says he lives north of the West Gate, in the big, weird-looking building.
North of the West Gate in the weird-looking building. Excellent. That's probably all that we need. Okay, let's go that way then. I'm assuming
So as you-
this is the West Gate somewhere here, or this is the West Gate.
That's the West Gate.
And
In a
is this
big
the
coffee
weird
voice,
being?
I'm like, "Thank you, good sir."
So as you walk over,
It's pretty close
You
as
get-
well.
yeah, how would you like to approach?
As far away from this fish market as we can get. Like along here
Okay,
if we
so
can,
you
or
go
up
that
this
way. Yeah, so there's there's little roads lining it.
Yeah,
Might want to go.
away from the
Um,
smell.
Yeah, so as you go away from the smell, you come up this way and you see this building seems to be mostly horse stables. Like this is all horse stables. This is like some sort of merchant's inn.
Mhm.
And then like back here is like maybe a warehouse sort. And you get in here as you approach the road. You see there's some guards
Mhm.
standing here. Like this is a guardhouse.
Yep.
This is some other building, but this is a guardhouse, and there's both guards in it and around it. And there's even like one on a horse leaving on some sort of looks like a patrol. and you look this way, and you see this building looks exceptionally weird. Not only is it like triangular, it has massive stonework. It's 2 stories, 2 full stories with stone columns on the outside, coming to a point where there's a column in the middle at the point, and it's like 2 patios on the outside with like metalwork fencing, as well as like just huge ornate doors. Like it's very, very nice. It's
So-
like it's a mansion.
Someone
When-
say
when you say-
ostentatious.
Pillars going to a central pillar like a teepee?
What? No. The pillars. Think of it as like half of a sandwich cut diagonally,
Oh, okay.
and it's like the corner that is a pillar, and there's pillars that go out from that. Sort of makes
Okay.
sense.
Sure. Let's go talk to Barnibus if we can. Let's remember that he is a gruff individual, and that he started up Hillsbard, and he has a little rivalry with our friend Aldo. So if we can link these things together and make him want something for us, or if we can ally him or give him information for something, then maybe we can be friends with him, and then that will fuck over Aldo, which is, nice.
What?
Remember what we talked about, Mr. Gilbert.
Okay, but look at this building. This is the coolest building I've ever seen. I just point like straight up to it and like, this is so cool.
Perhaps you could
Then
talk
try-
about the building, even, and introduce how much you love it.
Okay, and I just take Peachy and start to walk up to the front of the place we're up at.
I'll ask Thrust. He likes that building so much because it looks like a sandwich, doesn't he?
He doesn't like sandwiches that much. It's a pretty nice looking building. I mean, I never really
Now-
know what's going on with Gilbert, but I just go
Now,
along with
if
it,
it was in the shape of a bowl of oatmeal, then yes.
I go with Gilbert and try to basically see, are there any guards or anything, like people out front guarding, or...
So
Doorman.
as you get here, you see this guardhouse has like a fence that isn't pictured, like here to here, and like it's along the road, and so this is like a great big lawn, essentially. And you can see these houses also look very nice. They're not quite as nice, but very nice. This one is like a mini one almost, and it looks like it was made to emulate the other one, but it's not as big. And so
Suppose we'll go
you
up
can
this
go
way,
up
yeah.
this
And then
street.
down this street.
Yeah, and then as you go down this street, you notice there are guards posted. There's one big entrance here in this building, and as you get closer to it, it has big steps, like made of like very nice stone, like a quartz or like a granite, marble maybe, and it's like big, thick slabs, clearly done by a very good mason. And it leads up, and there are pillars. Think of this as literally like Greek architecture, like almost.
Yep.
But it's like more dwarven. It's like more blocky.
Okay.
And you get in and see, like, as you get up the steps, the guards cross their spears on the door as you step up to the door, and they look at you and say, "Who needs entry to this house?"
Why, it is only Gilbert, noble of Hubhole, and his posse. I am Thrust, his speaker. We are here to ask for a word with Barnibus, the lord of this area. We have
Hubhole, you
information that he could want, and we've also quite good with business dealings, and perhaps he could make use of us.
When you say make use of us, the guard says, kind of perks up a little bit. He's like, "Oh, okay, maybe that's actually true." And he says, "Wait here," and he opens the door, whispers something to someone standing inside, and then closes the door again and stands back at attention. And they just don't say anything to you.
Shall we wait here for word, or?
He looks at you like he wasn't looking at you. He looks at you again and goes, "That's what I told you to do just a second."
Yes, but how long are we waiting?
How am I supposed to? He looks at you like he's insulted you're asking stupid questions.
I just stare at him and wait.
Okay, and after like a minute, someone comes out to greet you, and it is a shorter dwarf with black hair and a medium-sized black beard with a golden ring, holding it at the end, like in sort of a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes out and says, "Oh, hello. My name is Yobid, and I am the secretary of the Lord here. I have been instructed to not only let you in, but get you some food, and we can have a chat about what it is that you think you can offer."
That would be lovely.
That would be quite acceptable. Thank you.
He nods at you and says, "Come in." And so as you get in the house, you see it's equally as ornate on the inside. Huge chandelier in the atrium, a gigantic atrium with double stairs on each side going up, all made of stone, immaculate stonework. There's like a archway in the middle of the stairs that are like round. So the stairs kind of go up in at to a doorway at the top, and then there's also a doorway that's like the same thing on the bottom. And so they're both big, heavy wooden doors, and on each side, it's like symmetrical. On each side, there's also a big, heavy wooden door. And so he steps back to the middle of the atrium and then uses his arms to kind of guide you towards the left. You go through a big, heavy wooden door this way, and you're now sitting in like a great big room with lots of very nice furniture. And it's like very posh. And you sit down, and someone comes out, an elf comes out, and specifically like is dressed very nicely and hands you all like a plate with food on it, and pours like comes back after a second, pours everyone drinks, and it's very good food.
A quick question. With me riding Poochie, would they have offered to take him to where they keep their horses so he can be fed and kept, or will they allow me to walk him in?
You're certainly not walking him in.
Okay.
I always forget you're riding him. So yeah, they would have offered that.
Are there oranges?
Are there oranges? Do you ask this to somebody?
Well, I mean, with the food.
No.
Okay.
Well, as I look, I kind of think at this point, there's no porridge or oatmeal.
No.
So I just grab the nearest delicious looking fruit or like tasty little dessert, and I'll eat that.
Yeah, I guess it would be like
citrus.
Yeah, there is like very nice like looking fruits, like bananas, oranges, apples, as well as like slices of cooked meat, cheeses, bread, very good looking bread, not crappy bread.
Can I do something for diplomacy, but it's just work with me on this.
Okay.
I take one of the oranges. I would like to do a mixology check.
Here we go.
I'd like to make 3 drinks with the vodka and the fermented molasses and some orange. Kind of make an old fashioned.
Oh my god. This is where you keep all your shit.
This role is very important.
I'm an item mancer, dude. I'm a guy for my way out of anything.
So I will say, I don't think your tinkerer's tools are going to apply here, but I'm going to take the role away, and you make some fantastic drinks. You offer them all around.
I give one to to Gimbal first. I offer one to Yobi and leave one in next to him for Barnibus. Where he's from, it's customary for a guest to make a drink for their lord. It's a sign of good faith, and he drinks first to prove it's nothing bad.
So the secretary guy said, he takes a drink. He seems to think it's a cute gesture, and then actually after drinking, he's like, "That's quite good. I like that it burns."
And I would drink mine as well.
And so after he gets you to sit down, and it's been a couple minutes of small talk, he says, "So what can I do for you?
Well,
Why is it that you're here?"
Well, we're here to talk with Barnibus.
I see. And what is it that you're here to talk with him about?
Well, we have heard that he is in charge of the new settlement, and he's doing very well there. We've heard that there are stories of the hills being dangerous, so we're offering our services in that department. We've already cleared out some stuff for Aldo, who I must say was not the best to work for.
He puts his eyebrows up, and he's like, "Oh, is that so?"
Yes, we don't think he was exactly fair with us or other workers that he is hiring. It sort of left a bad taste in our mouth when we left working with him, so yeah, we don't much like him. And we heard that perhaps Barnibus was a little bit of a nicer fellow and perhaps was looking for work from people like ourselves.
I think, okay. So he says, "I think you'll find that to be completely true. Lord Barnibus is a very kind and gentle ruler of this area."
Can I inside check?
Yeah.
Inside check.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. You think he believes this? Regardless, you definitely.
Yeah.
You're convinced, and so he seems to be telling the truth to you, and he's like, he's much more, he's new. He brings a new style of rule to the land. He doesn't.
The way he rules, man.
Rules, yeah, fuck you. And he's talking him up. He's talking him up, and he says lots of great things about him. And then he says, "I think that he would definitely be able to schedule some time to see you later today. He's currently out at the quarry, but he'll be back in, I would say, maybe 2 hours. I'll make it so that you guys are the first thing on his list when he gets in. How's that sound?"
That is very generous. You wouldn't perhaps know of an inn, a reputable inn, that a noble would be happy to stay in? And gesture towards Gilbert.
So he gives Gilbert kind of an eye, and then looks at you again and says, I would say that you could probably stay in the inn we usually suggest to people. It's right across the way," and he points literally out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And points at this building here. And can you see that? Am I on the right?
Yeah,
line?
yeah.
Yes.
We
Okay.
can see it. Yeah,
And
We saw that.
That building over there should be able to house you and get you anything you may need while you're here. And since it's so close, usually there's no issues. Just tell them that you are here on business with us, and they'll be more than happy to accommodate you.
Excellent. I just have one last question before we leave. So I've heard that Barnibus is sort of new to the Isle of Gate, and he's sort of an up-and-comer. my friend here, Noble of Hubhole, he dealt with some dwarves a long time ago. Do you perhaps know anyone from Ker Hisar? Or come from there? We have some information that we're looking for. We're not very good at finding it.
Well, actually,
I smile
Barnibus
and I
is-
shake my head.
Lord Barnibus is from Kerhisar originally, a long time. Maybe he can give you the information you seek. I'm personally am not. I am from to the north of Kerhisar.
Okay, well that's very nice. Yeah. We haven't met anyone like that on the island, so perhaps he can enlighten us on a few things. We'll be back in a couple of hours once we've settled into the city. Might I add that this is a very fancy-looking building. My Lord Gilbert was very taken by its striking appearance.
Yes. This building is very nice. I've never seen a building built like this before, and I've traveled a lot. This past year. This is a very nice building.
Well, thank you. We have great pride in our stonework in this town, and I think you'll find that this is the nicest town on the island.
Yes. I quite agree.
He stands up and looks at you all, expecting you to also stand up.
I
Stand up.
stand up and reach for my hand to shake his hand.
Okay, he shakes your hand and says, "Wonderful. I'll show you out, and you're more than welcome to come back in a couple of hours, and we'll see what we can do about getting you into a room with the Lord."
Excellent.
Yes, thank you very, very much.
And I suppose we leave.
Okay.
When we get to the tavern, I start hyperventilating.
You're
Wesley,
right,
are you okay? I thought that went very well.
Why did you tell him about that? I mean, I thought that was supposed to be a secret,
About what?
Mr. Thrust.
About what?
That he was looking for information.
Well, I looked into this guy's soul, and I could tell that he was very genuine, and this Barnibus seems like an alright fellow, so I decided to just go with it. I don't really
I'll look
think
at
about
you.
these things too much, You just, when you're in the moment, you just talk about it,
I look at you horrified, like that's an actual power you have. You can look into people's souls.
That
should see
for
him-
inside,
You should
basically.
see him play. You should see him play cards. He's cool.
Yeah, I usually lose, but then, that's basically, I usually lose, but that's fine.
I hit on 20.
Oh, you always hit on 20. Yeah, so we go to the inn and try to get some rooms.
Mhm.
What is the inn called, Jim?
The ebony coin.
Ebony Coin. Holy moly!
You son of a bitch! You didn't think I would have a name.
Nah, it's just
I just
Ebony
love the
coin.
I just love the attitude of Puddle's question. So, Jim,
So new TM.
Yeah.
Wow me with this shit.
Yeah. Well, fuck you, Puddles. I've got a name, and it's the ebony coin.
Excellent. It's a good name.
How rich and vivid is your world?
Yeah, and so you get as you go across the street, you notice that this building is also very nice. Similar pillars in the front, a little bit different. Actually, it looks a little older, but the whole town just generally looks newer than like pretty much any place you've been on the island so far, and it's quite nice. You can tell that nobles, stay here and are happy to stay here. It's very similar in like opulence level to the Golden Stowe. And you get in, and someone is there to greet you and take your things, and they So Poochie would be at the stables somewhere else.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if they had a stables.
Yeah, so they've taken Poochie to the stables for you.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about it.
Cool.
That's what they told you anyways. And so you walk across the street, walk literally by yourself.
Okay.
And you go into the ebony coin, and as you step in the door, there are people there to take your things, and they, the person who is behind like a big stone bar, I guess, says, "Oh, welcome. My name is Kusterlug, and I am the proprietor of this inn. I can take your possessions of any kind straight to your room for you, and we can get you fed and happy."
Oh, excellent. Thank you, good sir.
I give him my bag. I keep my sword and all my stuff, but I give him my bag. I'm like,
He doesn't request or like he doesn't suggest or request anything. He just takes whatever you give him. Like has the two people standing there take whatever is given and take it up to a room.
How much is it going to cost us to house 5 people here? Do take in mind that we have an audience with the Lord in a couple of hours, but don't let that factor into the price at all. But just remember that that's the thing that's happening.
Persuasion.
I'm not bad at that.
Intimidation?
I want to help him with this, so I smile and shake my head. Yes, like it's true.
Okay,
Will that count as help?
why not?
23.
All right, you persuade the shit out of him. He says, "Oh, of course. You will receive the going rate that everybody pays who has audience with the Lord, which is 10 gold a night per room. We charge a very fair price for the accommodations that we provide, and I think you'll agree when you see what you get.
How many beds to a room?
We have 1 bedrooms, and we also have rooms with 2 beds. It depends on what you need. And it's quite large. You can tell this place is like never hard for a room.
I'll drop 2 platinum.
I give you 10 gold from the group loot. 20 gold from the group loot, sorry. So, like, you put the 2 platinum on the thing and we get 2 rooms, and then I, like, take 20 gold out of the group loot and give it to you because this is stuff for the group loot.
Keep forgetting we have that.
Yeah.
He takes your coin, however you settle it.
Yeah.
You give him the right amount. So you're giving him how much?
20
30?
gold for 20 gold for 2 rooms.
But we pay in platinum because that sends a better message.
Yeah.
So there's 4 beds. So there's 4 beds and 5 of you.
Yeah. Me and Gilbert can like curl up in 1 bed if we really.
Gilbert
need to.
doesn't take up much space.
I just want to
Keep
make
him.
sure that
We've done it
we're
before.
clear with what you're doing. And so he looks at you and goes, "I see. Okay." And he takes the coin.
Mr. Gilbert gets a whole bed to himself, and the grungy fellow sleeps on the floor. That's what he likes.
I just give a big broad smile, like, "Yep, that's how I roll."
He looks at you with a very fake smile, and he's like, "Yes, of course." And he turns around and says, goes back to the bar and like puts the coin in something, and then comes back with like glasses of water on a tray and hands them out to you.
All of a sudden, Wesley turns into the Hound. Fuck water, give me wine.
Do you actually say something like that?
No,
Okay.
just like
He hands
misplaying
you-
a gruff character that can do shit like that instead of Wesley
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. He hands you all water and says, "If there's anything at all that you need, let anyone know, and it will be done."
Not that I'm going to go there right now, but I'm kind of Mr. Gilbert's personal smith and maker, so to speak. Is there a smithy around here? He has a couple of projects he likes me keeping busy on.
He looks at you and goes, I see. Well, I can tell you where I get my smithing done. And he says, if you go right around the corner here, and he's like motioning down the street this way. He says, around the corner between the large building and the other building, there's a thin building, and it's rather thin, but the person there knows what they're doing, and says they treat you well and they do good work. They may be a bit more of a humble establishment, but I can assure you that they do not create humble works of metal.
As he's asking that, I whisper over to Wesley. Don't forget to ask about Tygon Ty Davy. You forgot about that the last time.
Tygon Ty Davy?
Yeah, he's the guy I want to buy my splint mail from.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm just playing the part of the Lord, not talking to people, just talking to my underlings.
I'm so sorry, Lord Gilbert. Is that the residence of Tygon Ty Davy?
No, I don't know the person of whom you speak.
Okay.
He looks at you and says, I'm not sure who that is.
Never matter. I'm sure we'll find them if they're that
Well,
good. It's not like we have
I'll
much
find
time.
them after our meeting, Mr. Gilbert.
I just off at this point.
He says, like when he sees Gilbert get off, he says, but we can find out who that is if you need.
Ah, yes, that'd be very nice. Thank you.
Wonderful. We'll let you know as soon as we know.
Also, I've heard there's a big
Someone
school.
literally just walks out the door right now.
I've heard there's a school.
You thought that was the end of our demands. No.
There's a school in this place. Apparently the best on the island. Is this correct?
That is correct, yes. Many of our residents are often family members studying at the school.
Well, we have found that our halfling customs have been seen as strange in this land. Is there a book? Is there a book with the laws of the Isle of Gate? The like just general things that are wrong and things that are right? Because it seems very grey here. Is there anything that you could perhaps give us so that our Lord Gilbert could read through and perhaps acclimatize some of the things that he does?
I see. Well,
Maybe a teacher or a tutor or someone who could help us.
that is an interesting request. I will be sure to reach out to one of the local. He tries to find a word, constabulary folk, and dig up what I can for you.
If you... Okay, that's good. Thank you.
And another person, he like whispers in the ear of another person, and they leave.
I'll give him... shoot, I think this is time to spend some money, but I always do. I'll give him one more platinum and say, this is for the services and any other charges we amount during our stay.
He happily accepts it and says, thank you.
Make sure
this on your tab.
Lord Gilbert and Mr. Thrust are provided with anything they ask for.
Yes, of course.
And they don't like to be nettled with the price all the time.
Yes, we actually do not ask for dealings of payment up front. We trust that anyone associated with the noble houses of the area.
Silently, Wesley feels like a fool in case he paid 3 platinum and we're about to have to leave town.
Is there anything you guys want to do before we head out? Thrust is just going to wait here until the 2 hours.
I think we should stay close for now, but it would be good if we got... not that I would presume to tell you what to do, Lord Gilbert. Would you like to adjourn to your room and get comfortable, sir.
Yes, and perhaps have some food as well. It's been a long journey.
Even though you literally just ate.
Hey, second breakfast, man.
Hey, I'm a halfling, man. Second breakfast. I mean, I got 2 stomachs. Although
One
I've
to
always
break.
thought of halflings as like the alien Alf. They have like 8 stomachs and can eat almost like all day long.
Okay.
Is there anything
Um,
you would like to do, Alex? We've got 2 hours of time in this new city.
Not really.
Okay, well, I suppose...
During the 2 hours, I would like to get the negatives for Gilbert's ring ready to cast out of the wax.
Okay.
Bam!
You do it.
You've been rolling pretty good tonight, man.
Nice.
Only when it counts.
Yeah, you do it. Everything looks fantastic.
All right, so I should be able just to surreptitiously melt down some coinage and pour it, and pretty much have it done except for some filing.
Oh, and I'm gonna mark off platinum from my character sheet because I would have given you that to make the ring out of.
All right.
Or would that take like 2 platinums? You think?
Oh no, that's going to be the minor detail. It's mostly gold with platinum inlay.
Okay. So I would have given you the required gold and platinum for the to melt it down because I don't want you to use your own money.
One of each should do.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
So
we
you,
wait, yeah.
Yeah, so you go and... Are you trying to find that forge right now? Or are you
Um,
No,
gonna
he's...
later?
I'm just getting it
Oh,
ready.
you were
to
just
do
doing the
later.
negatives, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that way I can just knock it out real quick later, but
Yeah.
I don't think I have time
No,
to.
you don't. That's
get
why
set
I
up and
was
do it.
trying to figure out. So, okay, so you're good. You guys basically just hang around this very, very
Mm-hmm.
hotel. It's basically like if you were to make a modern comparison, it would be like or a yacht club if you've ever been to one. And so super, super nice. Every room has this fantastic furniture to be able to lounge on, and the rooms which you were handed keys to.
Any furniture actually halfling height?
I mean, no.
No.
Some of it is shorter, but it's still like bigger than you. Like some of it's like dwarf sized, but not halfling sized. Actually, a lot of it is dwarf sized, human sized, dwarf sized furniture. And so,
As I see all the dwarf-sized furniture, I silently whisper to myself, "More of a conspiracy."
and so you guys wait the 2 hours. Wesley's doing his thing, and
Alex is just going to get cleaned up really nice.
okay.
Polish his armor.
All right,
Just-
seriously, dude. What is up with you? You didn't sleep. You're getting clean.
Don't question it.
Yeah, don't take it for granted. So, damn it. It always pastes with formatting. I never want the formatting, ever. I never, ever want the formatting. Okay. So, you rate your 2 hours, you go back over, and the guards knock on the door, poke their head in, say something, and wait, and don't say anything to you. And a much shorter duration this time than a minute. After like just a few seconds, somebody comes through and says, hello, welcome back. Feel free to be seated. And this time he ushers you to the other side towards this way. And you go into a symmetrical but differently furnished room, which is still quite large. There are books lining the walls on shelves. There's a multitude of different, I guess, artifacts like weapons mounted on the wall, curios, stuff like that. Rich people shit. This is clearly his study, and you see him. You see Barnibus sitting in his chair. He is a notes. He's a younger than you imagine dwarf, probably the equivalent of human, like early 30s. And he's got pale skin, bright eyes of some sort of green hue, with an orange beard and a mostly bald head. Seems like a bald by choice kind of deal. And he's muscular, very, very good looking. And he seems to be in very good health. Like pale skin, but not like sick pale, like just pale skin. And so he welcomes you. He stands up as you enter the room, as he was like, writing something down, and he stands up and says, "Ah, hello. My name is Barnibus Brickgut, Lord of this here town. Sorry to keep you waiting. I was just down at the quarry doing my checks for the week. How is everything going with you? Have you settled in okay?"
Well,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And he shakes like he goes to shake Thrust's hand, and then like looks over and shakes Gilbert's hand. He's not sure if he's supposed to shake everyone's hand, so he just kind of does. And he says, he's like looking at all of you, not sure which one of you he's supposed to be talking. And he says, "So what? It's my understanding that you guys are here to speak with me about a multitude of things, some business that you're going to do." And he goes to sit back down in his chair and motions for you to sit. And there's exactly the right number of chairs laid out in front of him.
Before I sit, I would like to introduce the noble and stalwart defender of Hub Hole, Lord Gilbert. I'm Thrust, his speaker, and this is our posse. Gilbert has some business that he would like to talk to you about, and then I take my seat.
Okay. See, now looking at mostly Gilbert and mostly ignoring the rest of you, he says, "Ah, well, Lord Gilbert, it's good to have you here and make your acquaintance. What is it that you would like to discuss?"
Well, we have had some recent dealings with a very nasty little man from is it Dunsol?
Mhm.
Jim Dunsol? Yeah,
Yep.
from Dunsol, named Lord Aldo or Aldis or Aldice. I didn't like him very much. He wasn't a very nice guy. But anyway, we heard about his so-called farms, and I do the quotes, air quotes, like his so-called farms. So me and my group here decided to go to check one out, and we did southeast of I'm sorry guys, is it Riverdale? Riverhead, okay.
One day you will remember the names of
Let's say, well, it is southeast of Riverhead, and I'm telling you, it is it is terrible down there. I mean, those people live in squalor. I mean, my friend, what would I call him?
Mixer of tonics.
My mixture of tonics, Wesley here, can give you a more detailed account, as he's the one who went into to investigate. But they're doing very poorly down there.
I've had my eyes down the whole time, and when you bring me up, I kind of flinch, and will say, "It's only a job if you can leave, and they can't. That's not a job."
More akin to slavery, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I
it
nod
certainly
and say
sounds
yes.
what is it you think I can help with?
we can help you.
We could have helped them, but if we did, there wouldn't be anywhere for them to go. And Lord Aldo, he seems like the type of person that would just say whatever's convenient and not necessarily truthful. He could say anything happened if we did that.
I see. Yes, that does make sense. I mean, if you were to, as you say, free them, then I suppose that there would be a big ruckus about it, and well, I imagine that the king would probably believe him over just some band of people, foreigners. He says.
In, there are other matters to discuss as well. It's not just Aldo. There's, and I like go to Gimbal and like hint to Lyra. I'm like, the tapestry. Like,
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
put it-
Oh yes, we found this amazing tapestry in this cave.
He looks at you when you say cave, like, cave?
Yes, it was quite interesting. We noticed there was a ruckus when we were investigating Aldo's farms, so we decided to go check it out to make sure that no one would be in danger from any wild or not natural animals in the area. Let me put it this way: that cave was full of stuff that I don't even think belongs in this area. We found there's these weird little plant things, these flying demons, or devils, or I don't know what they were, and these little large chickens that could turn you to stone. By the time we were done, I'm telling you, I'm just glad we were able to clear it out and get everyone there safe in that area. But when we were there, we found this interesting tapestry. And I actually describe it to him as the way that's listed on the handouts. Because, it's too big for me to carry in, and it's with Poochie's stuff.
Okay.
And then I assume Lyra would like unload her information that she learned about like the talisman and the dangers of the hills.
And
all that
also
sort of stuff.
that it was, it seemed to denote some sort of sealing ritual or...
Yeah.
And that there was actually a castle place around here,
That
to where
the-
one is probably left out.
Yeah, and then
Info dump on the DM.
Yeah, basically reloading that. So we've heard that you've made a town in the hills, which is unheard of, and that is what got you favor. We could perhaps work with you to clear the hills and make them safe again. Basically, what we want to do is to make you look as good as you possibly can, so that when we go against Aldo, you can help us. Because
Okay.
Yes,
what's
'cause-
happening in the farms is
Wow.
not good.
Out of
It's very
character.
bad.
This
We
is
really need your
super
help.
upfront.
Yeah,
Thrust
we're
has 7 wisdom, guys.
Yeah. Okay, so I need 2 rolls before
And
we keep
Gilbert
going.
trust thrust.
So before we keep going, I want 2 rolls. The first one, I want roll one person's best deception with advantage,
I can probably do that.
and then
Okay.
afterwards, I want the same thing with advantage but persuasion.
I could probably do that as well if you guys want.
That's
You've got
fine.
a 5. Go for it.
My deception's a 1, so go for it.
17 and then an 18.
Okay, so 17 to deception and 18 to persuasion. So give me a second to collect my thoughts and to burp here. Okay,
Can't
much
think
better.
and burp.
Yeah, I can't think and burp at the same time. And so you give him like all this information, and he just sits there and listens. He doesn't interrupt you. He doesn't say anything other than like a making sounds to acknowledge that he's listening, stuff like that.
While you're doing that, I'm just barely muttering, but we said we were going to wait already. Oh,
He does notice you getting nervous, and so he says, "This is a lot to think on." In a very deep, slow voice, he says, "It seems to me like one, you could absolutely be of use to me over in Hillsborough, and two, that there's something more going on with Lord Forrester than we may be then we may be inclined to believe otherwise. Do you have any evidence to support your claims?
We know where it is. We couldn't bring anything with us without putting them in danger.
I see.
I
Once the farm is discovered, it's pretty obvious. We could take you or your people there. It's in his lands, though. That's the thing. He's the lord there. That's why we couldn't do anything about it.
That's the very hard part. We didn't want to start any trouble between you and between anybody and Lord Aldo before we could before we could bring it to. We wanted to bring it to your attention before we made any type of attempt to help the elves.
and just based off reputation, I mean, we thought you might help. You're big into educating common folk, and you wouldn't do that if you didn't care about people. That's why we thought you might be. I'm sorry.
I see. He rings a bell, like a small bell, and someone immediately, like I'm talking like the bell hasn't even stopped ringing yet. Someone immediately walks in the room.
Wesley
and
thinks we're going to jail.
stands at attention. No weapons. They look like a butler, and he sees you jump and looks at you. Do you do anything?
No.
He just looks back at the butler and says, I'm going to need one rider here immediately, as well as a round of refreshments for the lot of us. And maybe make it a little stronger for this time of day. And
It's halfling custom. Could you bring another orange?
the butler looks at you, looks back at the at Barnibus, and looks back at you and goes, and like just nods, doesn't say anything. Walks away, and quicker than you thought he would.
Ranks.
Quicker than you thought he would, he comes back with a round of drinks and an orange, and he also has like I guess he's carrying it on like a plate, like a metal silver platter. And he brings it and sets it down on a table, which is clearly designed specifically to fit this platter, and serves everyone the drinks with, the glasses and everything. And then immediately after him, like behind him, there's a person comes in dressed in this very fancy riding outfit and says, "My lord," and the Barnabas looks directly at him and says, I need 2 scouts and yourself to head down to the location given to you by this person here. And he points to whoever specifically said they knew the location of the park. And
I think I described it to him, yes.
So then he says, Lord, I almost said Snozwoggle. Remind me what your last name is.
D Paula.
Lord D Paulo here will be able to tell you where it is. And he then says, I need you to leave immediately. I need you to scout the premises carefully and without being seen. And I need you to report back on the conditions of the premises, the conditions of those living in the premises, and the general understanding of the area.
Also, if you bump into 3 people, they're working for us, Mr. Not Aldo, not Albatross, Conduin. If you find a Mr. Conduin there, we armed him so he'd be safe, but I think they're a little gung ho about using them. Just look out for them, and if you do bump into them, tell them Paladin Alex said you're okay.
He nods. Like the guy that is being spoken to nods and looks back at his lord, who then says,
You're not going to go in there, are you?
he turns back at you and gives you a quizzical look, but doesn't say anything.
If you do sneak in, and I give him my 10 new rations, if you do sneak in, give him this. There's a boy named Ash in one of the flop houses. They're more like stables, and they're awful. If you do that, give him these.
He turns back to his lord, who waves you off and says, "No need for that. If you would like us to bring something down to them, we will do so. You don't need to provide."
It might be safer if you didn't, now that I think about it.
Well, we'll bring it and let them make the judgment call. He says, and bring some food and water. If the predicaments are as bad as the people are describing to me, then you will need it. Do not act in any way which you will be discovered. Report back to me immediately. And the guy leaves. He gives a short bow, not like a deep bow or anything, and says, "My lord," and leaves. And well, he is about to leave, turns to Lord Gilbert and says, "Lord Deep Hollow, how might you describe the place I am to scout?" Like he's looking for direction.
For directions, okay. I'll tell him it is southeast from Riverdale. Jim, would you say about a mile or two? About
Yeah.
how deep in the forest did
I mean,
we
it
go?
wasn't too deep in the forest. It was actually like northeast of the forest, but it was still sort of.
Yeah, it's southeast of the village, but it seemed to be more in the northern end of the forest. It didn't take very long to find at all. It's almost as if he wasn't even trying to hide it from the local townspeople. But they don't really go beyond the town, so I don't think he felt threatened of being discovered.
Okay. So he says, he gives you a short bow and says, "My lord," and leaves. And now the room is empty besides you and Lord Barnibus. And he says, "Well, now that that's taken care of, let's discuss further business. Once I have my scouts' reports back, I will have some more, I guess, hard evidence to be able to take action to help these people. If I were to do so now based off of the word of someone who I do not know very well, no offense to you, my lord, but it would not look very, it would not carry as much weight. Now, if I have a report from my scouts, that's a different story, and I'm more likely to be taken seriously by our new king."
Quite understandable. Quite understandable. That's why we came here first.
Is there nothing we can do for you? We're here to help you gain favor with Lord Acarho as well. If there's anything that we can do that would gain you favor, we'll gladly do it. Perhaps for some coin if you're offering it.
He considers this. When you say perhaps for some coin if you're offering it, he kind of raises his eyebrows and he's like, "Hey?" He says, "The number one thing that I have been tasked with, my number one job right now, is the success of the Hillsbard colony. If that colony is successful, I am successful. If that colony fails, I fail. It is of the utmost importance that that colony not only remain profitable as it has been so far, but also continue to grow and flourish. Um, Lately, I have had increased, according to this letter. He holds up a piece of paper which has some sort of seal that's been broken on it. It says, according to this, I have just received word that there have been increasing goblin raids on the road into Hillsbard, and traders are getting spooked. Can't have any of that. I have a significant force of guards there, but they can't be going through the hills and hunting goblins. Now, can they?
Goblins. Nasty
he like doesn't.
creatures.
Yeah. He nods quite, and he says, "I could use some well equipped adventurers to go into the." And like when he says adventurers, he's like testing the waters on that term. He's not sure about it. He says, "Adventurers to clear out some of the rabble."
Would I pick up on that?
Roll.
Inside.
Yeah. Yes.
Mr. DePaulo, Lord DePaulo, he if is an adventurous sort. If he was not to say anything, if he was the type of lord just to sit at home, it'd still be across the sea.
I see. That is a good point. Thank you for making it.
And I always love a good hunt.
Ah, yes.
Keeps the blood boiling.
I agree, he says wholeheartedly.
We could perhaps
Look at you, being friends with a dwarf, building bridges.
All the way, just to get to the end. So, man, if he turns evil, I will take off his head.
If you would like, we could perhaps go and hunt these goblins while you investigate Lord Aldo. And then we could come back here once our job is done. And together we could perhaps bring down Lord Aldo, or at least, not bring down, but at least unravel the corruption that he has been dealing.
Okay, do you say those exact words, or when you took back that last part? Like, do you want to have said that and then
No.
corrected yourself?
No.
Okay,
I wouldn't have. Yeah, I don't want to take
that's
down
my
Aldo.
question.
That's why I didn't
Right.
say it.
Okay, and so he says, "I see. Well, I will definitely take this into consideration. I will absolutely, once I have the information from my scouts, I will be able to raise this issue in a more formal setting with the king. Well, probably an informal setting at first, but then eventually a formal.
We're strangers here, Lord. We don't really know much about the king. Is he the type to be amenable to something like that, even though it's profitable to do the moral thing?
You mean the immoral thing?
Yeah.
Okay, he gives a big laugh and goes, "Oh! Well, one thing I can say is that the king is amenable to me, and if I'm raising something to him, I know he will listen. He is a fickle man, and he will be probably a bit. I'm looking for myself, but he wouldn't be. He would know exactly what to say. I just don't know what he wants to say. He wants to say something like hesitant to act on anything that might destabilize things while he is handling so many matters at once with the current area and all of the economic disturbances, as you are well aware.
Rightly so.
However,
Rightly so.
I know he will
Yes.
listen to me, and I can guarantee that. So let's do this. I plan to be in Hillsbard in a few weeks' time. Probably I'll stay here for a little bit, but I do have to make a trip over there. I would say I plan to go over mostly by lake, and I should be there in maybe a week, maybe 2 at the most. If you wanted to go over there, you can meet with my head of constabulary in that town. I will give you his reference, and he like motions to his paperwork, and he says, and you can check in with him about what it is that he exactly needs done. If you are, if you're still around when I am there, you're more than welcome to meet with me there at my residence, or you could also travel back here if I've come back, and I'll be more than happy to meet with you one way or the other. Either way, you'll be able to check in with my residents in either place, and they'll be able to inform you of where it is I am. I'll make sure to leave word with both.
Is there any
And-
more information about the goblins? Is it just like a horde, or do they have are they just rampaging through the hills? Do you know much about them?
He says, I have heard from my scouts and from my head of constabulary in Hillsbard that the issues that they've been dealing with lately are mostly raiding of trades roads, but they seem to be a bit more organized. And
Organized goblins?
I was
Sure.
also surprised to hear this, and I doubt it highly, but I do take my constable to be a good servant of the realm, and I understand that he would not lie to me. So I trust that this is what he believed. Whether it is true or not, I do not know. I, however, can guide you to say that it would be wise to take this threat seriously. They would not be sending word to me if it was not.
Understood. Well, lads, it looks like we have a goblin hunt to do. And I just smile and get little bit excited.
Excellent. Well, we've got at least one night staying here. How far away are the goblins?
Are you asking him or are you asking me?
Yeah. Well, either. Whoever can answer.
Okay, so you ask him how far away are the goblins. He says, well, they would be somewhere in the hills to the south of Hillsbard, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
And just like kind of assumes that you know that, and he goes, oh, right, you are not from here. It should take you some time to get there. And let me take you. He pulls out a map and turns it around so that it's facing you, and says,
Oh, Hillsbard's ages away.
yeah. So he says, this is where Hillsbard is. And he points to the tower on his map. And he says, this tower is one of my, I won't call it private because it's not quite private, but it is new and a lot of taken to using it yet. So it is sort of a project of mine that I'm working on. I can get you a charter. What I want a charter to take you there, to allow you to head to Hillsbard a bit quicker without having to go back through Riverhead. I can also make sure that there are horses waiting for you there as well.
That would be very, very generous.
He waves his hand and says, of course, anyone who's working with me is working with,
Now, I do have my own mount, but my I don't call it comrades, but my subjects here would each require one. I just don't want you to have an extra horse there for me when one's not needed.
Well, we keep a stable of horses nearby, so it shouldn't be any problem.
Excellent.
One last thing before we leave. Now, my lord does not like me to bring this up because it is not in his nature to ask, and I sort of step forward and try to seem abashed and like I'm breaking the rules for my lord.
You mean like
About that
so you're
money.
sitting down at the moment, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I stand up.
Okay, so you stand up and kind of approach his desk.
Mhm.
Okay.
My lord he comes from a place called Hubhull, which was at one point under the control of the dwarves from Kai Hirsa. You don't perhaps know the name of the dwarf that was in charge of that place, do you?
He looks at you very seriously, and he says, he like takes a moment to think, and he like rubs his lip with his big thick fingers. He's got real big hands. He's just a big dude.
Mhm.
And he then looks at you while he's doing this, and then he looks away, and he says, he scratches his beard.
Perhaps. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Perhaps our clearing of the goblins could be payment for said name, if you indeed have it. We help you, you help us.
Why is it that you need this?
This, our lands has recently, within the past year, has finally been freed from, let's call it a dwarven
Rule.
dwarven rule, yes, by a single captain. Hold on, guys. Big pause here. Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing here, because I don't want to give it.
Yeah, he was like a general or something, wasn't he?
The general, yes. I'm sorry, yes. It was run by a dwarven general who first came there to help us with a kobold threat that stayed, and over the years his role became more and more tighter, to where eventually it was like almost living like the elves were living. We were working for him and barely had enough to feed ourselves. Finally, when I came of age, I was able to to organize our village in order to take down his warriors and to get rid of him. At the very end, he was able to use a magic to escape, and somehow erase his name from all of our memories. So and as I say this to him, I also describe the dwarf to him in detail, because I pretty much burned this into my mind. I am searching for him to bring him back to Hubhull for the justice that he so deserves. So far, we've had no luck. I was hoping that a man, once I heard of your good nature and honorable rule, would hopefully have some contacts on the mainland.
And I'm
that would at
sure
least be able to point us in the right direction.
And I'm sure if you found that your people were being treated like this in Lakemont, you would want to do the same to whoever did it to those people. It's the same situation for Lord Deep Hollow here. He just wants to bring this general to justice.
Yes, we hope that it was just a general who got a little bit too big for what he wanted and decided to do something on his own. Because I would dread to think that the dwarven community would actually want to take down a peaceful farming village.
I see. Well, I'll tell you what. I think your proposition is fair. If you take care of the goblins, I will send word to the mainland to find out more of this discreetly and see what I can dig up.
Can I insight
Excellent,
check
sir.
him
Thank you.
solely
Yeah.
because he was breaking eye contact before that speech?
Okay.
I would like to
Nope.
insight as well.
And let me
Just to
help
see if
him
he's
do
telling
that.
the truth.
All right. All right. We're all doing it, so I'm going to do it too.
We're so good at
let's
insight,
see.
guys.
We're so good at
I'm
insights. I
waiting
know
for
less.
666. Do
What's
it.
mine? Oh, I won.
665.
There we go. Okay. Anyway, I think he's totally telling the truth. So I stand up, and Alex. So I stand up, walk up to him, and I shake his hand, tying the deal.
Okay. He says he rings his bell again, and like he seems to be doing this to like show that he's like doing what you asked. He says, bring me another rider, and I will brief him in this room in a few moments. And he stands up. The butler guy exits the room, and he motions for you to leave like the room the way you came in, back towards the atrium, like to walk with him in a like a polite manner.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I'll stand up after shake in his hand. I will bow and be like, "Sir, this was very, very nice to meet you, and I hope this leads to further peaceful relations between my people and yours."
Of course. I'm happy to make a new ally. Thank you very much. And I will also be sending word via Raven to my constable in Hillsbard to expect you.
Thank you, good sir.
We'll be right on our way in the morning.
Wonderful. If there's anything else you need, please let my secretary know, and he'll take care of anything.
And with that, I will start to walk out.
Cool.
We follow.
Cool. So you guys leave the establishment. They close the door behind you politely, and
So in the morning, you want to get some armor, and then we're going on the barge. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. My mixologist, and I'm just saying that I just laugh.
Master mixologist.
Master mixologist. I laugh. Remember how tasty your last beverage was.
Alex is just gonna pick up a handful of dirt once they're outside and get messy again.
smear it all at himself. Oh my god! Wow.
That armor's not gonna unpolish itself, at least not quickly enough.
Do you remember? Have you watched My Hero Academia?
Yep.
Do
I
you
have
remember
just started
the guy-
to watch that. I've just started to watch that.
the very sparkly rainbow guy with the laser?
Yes.
That's who I pictured. Like, one, that's Kione, and also two, that's who I pictured you turning into just now, and then suddenly turning back into like one of the
Yes.
others. Like,
Is that the guy with the belly button laser?
yes.
Yeah.
And also, your character in generally reminds me of the frog woman.
Get him.
The kissing frog woman that kisses everybody back to health. Her lips are like so huge.
Oh no, the frog girl.
The frog girl. I don't know who
Okay,
you're
then
talking
I
about.
haven't seen her yet.
Not
Yeah.
recovery girl.
No, not recovery girl.
Oh.
Jeez.
You've seen Fropey.
Yeah, Froppy.
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 It's so good. It's even better than the manga.
Oh, it's so good. I haven't
It's
watched
good.
the second season yet.
I've started to watch it on Hulu.
Yeah, I don't have
think
Hulu
they're-
anymore.
I think they have 3 seasons on there right now.
Yeah, whatever the newest one is, I haven't seen yet.
Oh, the manga gets so good, guys.
I
Oh,
started
man.
to watch it.
Buckle up.
I started to watch it last night. It's like 2 a.m. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go to bed.
It's so good. Anyway,
Gentle Criminal was best criminal.
Oh, I haven't gotten that far. I stopped reading. Ah. But I'm about to go on a car trip, so I'm catching up.
Alex just went from being Aoyama to being Tsukiyomi or whatever. I forget his name. Crow guy with Dark Shadow.
Grunge Guardian.
I'm just googling all these things that you guys are saying, and it looks hilarious. I'll have to check it out.
All right, so I will start my crafting.
Yeah, we've got a night if anyone needs to do anything.
Yeah, because we're going on the barge, and I can do better work in a smithy. I'm going to try to make Gilbert's ring, which should be pretty quick. So I'll go to the smithy and see if I can procure work time.
I might see if I can find Tygon Tyodavi because it's like afternoon. We have time still, right?
Yeah.
Before
Mhm.
so we can leave early
I
in
was
the morning.
I was gonna go back to the hotel to see if they had
Oh yeah,
found them for us yet.
yeah.
Because
Let's
they
go back
sent
there.
about looking.
Yeah. We'll go back to me and Gilbert will go back to the inn and see if they found anything.
Okay. So can we take like 5 minutes real quick?
Sure.
Go!
Thank you.
I suppose so.
All right.
Because we've got about another hour left based off what we usually do.
Sure.
And I just have to like open the
Yeah.
window. It's getting hot as
I'm
hell.
cool. I'm cool for another hour, and I'm kind of hungry too, so I'll be back.
Cool.
Soon, my creation will be complete.
And then it will break.
Most likely.
At least it'll be useful for I don't know how long.
It's a lot quicker to repair than to make.
But when making things, you can make some pretty neat little doodads.
Oh, flamethrower gauntlets!
That would be ridiculous.
Like, I'm torn whether I should start my bomb and explosive experimentation, my hand cannon, or something weird. Because a hand cannon, you can make like grappling hook rounds and.
That sounds
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, that would be pretty legit.
Of course, you can't really use it stealthily because it's a fucking explosion.
Unless
I
you
mean, you
have
can't
the
use most of your
silence
things
spell.
stealthily.
That's why I took the silence spell.
Oh god.
Okay. I need to adjust the.
Alrighty, I'm back.
Oh, so much better. Okay.
I think we're all back.
Cool. I have almond pudding. I'm wearing shorts now, and it is. I've got the window open, so now it's.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's 72 outside, so it's actually getting warm.
They actually make pudding out of almonds. Did not know that.
It's like almond milk.
Oh, okay.
That actually sounds delicious.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's a little thin, but it's good.
My favorite is butterscotch.
Oh yeah, dude, butterscotch is good. Okay. As I fight the wrapper on the top of this pudding.
So Puddles,
Mhm.
that diorama.
The what?
I sent you a picture of the character in the chat.
Oh.
That's
The hero who
Billy
glitters.
Buzzing guy, right?
Hero who glitters.
The hero who glitters.
That character.
Nice.
Yeah, I found that so. I found it so funny. In order to get his power, he had to eat a piece of hair.
Isn't that how
Hey, it
everyone
was
gets
the
their
most
powers?
delicious piece of hair ever.
Midoriya, do you remember what I told you when you started this journey? Eat me!
hair.
Eat this hair. God, it was fucking hilarious. All right. We've only got roughly 50 minutes or so before we usually call it. So, let's get to doing what you want to do so that when we come back, you guys can head out or something.
Oh, I suppose
Okay.
Wesley can do his thing first.
I tried to pour the ring. Oh, no, I've got to go to the smith and negotiate the price, which I'm not going to negotiate.
Okay. So you go to a smith. Do you go to the one that the guy told you?
Yeah, the one that said was kind of humble.
Okay.
I'm with Lord Deep Hollow. He just had a meeting with Lord Brickgut. And I was recommended that this might be somewhere I could do some work for him.
I see. It's a big dude. He's got like hairy arms and like he's got like no sleeves on.
But his
He's
arm hair is all singed.
Oh yeah, and he says to you, "I do not usually allow others to use my tools, but if it is something that Lord Brickgut has asked of me, I will absolutely do it."
Okay.
And
For free?
he says, I will ask you to pay fair market value for anything that you use, and if you break anything, I will also ask you to replace it.
That's more than fair, sir.
He says, okay. Also, try not to get in my way.
I will. I won't. Yes.
He says, all right then. And he goes back to what he's doing, which is like hammering something.
I will use up one of my pieces of chalk to grind it up into a powder so it has something I can put the wax into to cast. And I'm just pouring metal.
You get it done, and it's not quite as ornate as maybe you. It's gonna need some filing and some sanding or whatever.
Need some polish. Okay.
Yeah, polish.
And
but
then
like,
I will pull an all-nighter. On, guess what? My gun!
you get your
Of
what is
course,
it?
the gun looks awesome.
You get like 12 hours worth of work done. You're on a roll today. But you don't sleep.
Gilbert and Thrust went back to the hotel place to see if they had come back with the book and with information on Tygon Tiedavi.
Yes. So, when you get back to the hotel, whatever, you go into the lounge, and you're greeted, like you sit down or whatever it is you're, and someone comes up to you and says, like gives you a short bow and says, "Sir, it was my understanding that you requested information."
Yes, I did. Were you able to find the person I was searching for, or for Thrust and book?
Yes, we were able to find out about a Tygon. It turns out he is a bit of he says, like, beg your pardon, but a bit of a hermit, and he does very, very good work. We were able to find his shop. He quickly kicked us out, but we were able to find his shop, and it is in one of the basements of the school. It is quite humble, be the word I would use, but it is, and he gives you a piece of paper with like handwritten directions to like get to this from here, and it's like very well spelled out, and it tells you that like this building here, like in the basement of this building.
Okay, I see it now. And he's in the basement, you say?
In the basement. It was quite mysterious and weird.
I'll just have to go and pay him a visit. Thank you very much. And about my friend's book, the
Uh,
information he seeks.
Yes. Remind me as a DM what it is.
Just like what the law is in the Isle of Gite. Like,
Oh, the law.
yeah, like, is it illegal to have slaves? Is it illegal to stab someone in the street? Like, just a general law book.
Yeah. So he gives you a law book. Well, not a book, but he gives you a piece of paper, and it lists a number of things. Most of them are like things you would expect. You know, no murder, no stealing, no like going back on contracts, no.
No having ice cream in your
No,
back
no.
pocket on Sunday.
Yes. Fuck, that's a real law.
From
No,
pocket only.
fucking America. And you're not surprised by most of them. Actually, you're really not surprised by all of them. There's nothing that really stands out. And he says, these are the laws we were able to obtain from the household of the Lord here. He did mention to specify, he, not the Lord. He says, the constable secretary did tell us to specify to you that these laws may not be, always observed in every part of the realm, but they are technically applicable to all of the northern part of the realm. Anything under Lord Brickgut.
You look at the book. It has one law. It says, "Don't be a dick." We got him.
Yeah, so that's you're
Yeah.
not surprised by any of the laws. Like,
Basically,
there's
what I was
nothing about
expecting.
slavery though.
Mhm.
There's nothing about slavery. There's nothing about paying a fair wage or anything like that. It's all stuff that protects nobles and merchants.
Yeah. Obviously, like all laws.
Yes, it's like all laws even to this day.
Yeah, that's all that Thrax wants to do. I'll go with Gilbert to the Tygon shop, but I'll just stand in the background and look menacing.
Okay. Is that what you want to do next?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you go to leave, and so let me backtrack real quick. So after he's given you all the information you've asked for and all that stuff, he kind of like stands there, hesitates, like a little expectantly, like a tip.
I will take out and give him a gold for his service.
He bows shortly and says, "Thank you," and leaves. Or he doesn't say thank you. He says, "My lord," and then he leaves.
This is such a better town.
Isn't it?
Everything is so nice here. Like, you know how like when you use a really nice thing, like maybe it's something stupid, like I got a blender that I like upgraded my blender, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I bothered with that old blender. This one's so much nicer. That's what it feels all the time. Like you're walking down the street, everything is clean, everything is nice, everything is in order. It's so nice. If you were gonna pick a place to live and you had to pick between Riverhead and this place, you wouldn't even have to think about it.
So it's not California.
It's like if California was clean.
Except there's homeless people shitting in the streets and spreading hepatitis.
That's accurate. That is an accurate depiction of California.
In fact, as me and Thrust, start to walk down the towards the shop, I just kind of whisper to him, "This is kind of a nice town being run by a dwarf."
It is. It's exactly what we were expecting. This guy seems like on the level, and if we do this job for him, we're going to learn about this guy that we need to sort out.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Not all dwarves are bad, but if we get attacked by a whole bunch of bandits here in like a couple of days, I'm gonna be kind of suspicious of them.
Sure will I. But hopefully it's just the goblins. I mean, we'll find out in due time, but this guy seems to be on the level. He seems to be nice.
Mm-hmm. He does. He seems very nice. So, do we get any strange looks of a halfling walking with half orc?
So you're both a little bit out of the ordinary here, and so seeing you two together doesn't actually doesn't actually strike anyone. But seeing you in general,
Oh, okay.
does like you get looks, but it's nothing you're not used to.
Yeah, I just always imagine when me and Thresh walk down the street, this huge orc, and I come up to like his knee, and
Yep.
we're just and we're just talking and laughing. It's just hilarious.
Okay, and so you walk across, and it's pretty. It's probably like 5-ish now. You know, like it's definitely not sundown yet, but
Mhm.
it's getting there. People are starting to think about going home if they're working, and the traders are thinking about closing their shops up, but it's not quite closed yet. It's everyone's a little antsy because they're done with the day. And so you walk down the street. It's impeccably clean, and as you cross the market, you see that there's tons of stuff going on here. This is a market square, but you'll notice that it's not a clusterfuck like in Dunsol.
Mhm.
It's like very well organized rows of
Stalls.
like stalls. That's exactly the word I would use, and it's very well done, and it's not at all chaotic. It's like I can think of some things, but they're not very good comparisons. So, yeah. And down here, this area appears to be like mostly housing, but there's some tradesmen that are living in here. It's like middle class sort of housing. Go ahead.
I don't suppose we've come across a black market boxing ring like in the last town.
You absolutely do not. Yeah. There's let me kind of describe a little bit here. So this is a
That
market.
won't help your nobility cred.
This is a school which has been built up, and it is very big. It's probably the biggest thing in town, but it's not quite the nicest next to this. But this is definitely very nice. These buildings, and these buildings seem to be more like warehousing and
Gotcha.
stuff, like not shops, like businesses that are dealing with like the docks. This is the fish market and food market. This is various housing of probably mostly servants of people in the area.
Now this is more of a personal curiosity than what Gimble noticed, but since this place is so nice, is there really like a lower class section like there was with
No.
the first city?
So that's what I wanted to mention is like this is like as lower class as it gets, and it's still pretty nice. It's just that like the places that they live in are like smaller. They're divided smaller, but they're not nice. Everything is pretty nice here.
It's like America in the 50s.
Yeah.
So there's no stinky section like
No.
Okay.
No. It's like this. All this stuff is like. This is definitely not as nice, but it's like equivalent to like middle class in Riverhead. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You can tell that they don't do a lot of low class work here. Like there's not a lot of unskilled labor in town, stuff like that. All these traders here seem to be very nice stalls. These are all mostly traders. This one down here is like the only one holding out in this part of the city. The rest of this is housing now.
Okay, cool.
And then this is like all traders and of different things. These seem to be different things associated both with the Lord's estate as well as like, you know, you saw this was an inn. There's
Not a
taverns in
single
here.
hipster in this whole town.
Not at all
Gimble is
hipsters.
definitely. I'm sorry. Gilbert is. I said Gimble myself.
Yeah, haha, it's not just us.
Yeah. Gilbert's starting to think that maybe we should come here when we need to buy stuff, because he gets the feeling that this probably has the best selection, higher prices, but probably the best selection of whatever we would want to buy.
Indeed. So you walk through the market. You notice all those things as you walk through town, and you get to this school, which is very nice, and all these buildings on the side of the street, like all of this appears to be associated in one way or another with the school. Some of it is housing in the back here. This is like housing mostly. This is like, you know, smaller buildings. Some of it is like groundskeeper stuff. Some of it is like storage. Some, you know, all that kind of thing. And then these are the main schools, right? And this is housing for presumably like professors and stuff. And so you walk over, and it seems like the way to get through is like here, and then this is like an archway, and then it
Mhm.
goes this way, and then it goes this way, like you go from there.
Got there.
Or you can come through this way.
Well, I don't know. Well, we don't know the area, so since we're coming from like this area, we'll probably head like this way.
Okay.
Or what? I would be following the directions. Would the directions told me to go this way, or to go this way?
The directions take you through the arch.
Okay, then
Yeah.
then I'll take the directions through the arch.
Here, let me, Okay, so you take the directions which tell you exactly through the arch, all the way down. The first row of student housing, and then this is the back that says shop.
So is this like housing for the teachers?
It's more for students, it seems. It's like a little bit smaller rooms. It seems to be that's where the people who are staying at the school to study live. And then you can see these are much larger homes near the road over
Oh, cool.
over
Nice.
here. And like these are like this one's actually quite large here. And quite nice. So you can tell there are some more esteemed people here and some less esteemed, and like their housing seems to be dictated by that status.
Nice. This entire map is very nice. I like it.
Thank you. I have lots of labels for myself, which I can now give to you because you know most of all these things now. Okay, so now you know a bunch about the school.
And then that way, and then that way.
Yep. So you get there, and you go to this building, and it seems like it's similar to like a dormitory. And there's mostly younger people, teenage age, who seem to be pretty disciplined. Like they're all cleanly kept. Most of them are wearing a robe, which seems to be a uniform. And they all have a very funny haircut. They all have a haircut where like the front of their hair has been cut off. Like they have no bang. It's really
have no
weird. Like they
bang.
have like, yeah, they
No
have
bangs?
like, medium to short hair, and then they just have like the front. Like if you take all your hair that is over your forehead and like to the sides of your forehead, and it's gone. Like just cut with scissors. Very weird. Dude, if you want to give me a check, I could give what it is they're wearing, what it is.
The rest
Yeah,
doesn't
I
care
don't
enough.
like.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I would probably take a passive look at their haircut and stuff. I mean, so an 11 would tell me whatever you think it would. Because I'm here mainly to get armor.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I would just passively notice what they're wearing. Because personally, I've never gone to school, and so I wouldn't really understand it anyway about the
Okay. So you go and you don't see anything indicating a shop, anything like that. But the directions say in the main entrance, stairs to the right, then to the left, in the door that looks like a closet.
All right, I will follow the directions.
Okay. So you go down
Mhm.
and you get to the door, and it's a wooden door of, medium quality. And you don't see anything marking it. There's no marking on it. It just seems like a door.
I will knock because
Okay, you
I'm
knock,
trying to make a good impression, not trying to act like a thief.
and you hear, "Ugh! Go away!"
You know what leaves a good impression? Setting it on fire.
I was told to come here because you are the maker of the best armor in this entire city, possibly this entire island or world. I've come to pay for your excellent armor.
He comes to the door and says, "Well, at least you've come to the room, then." And he's breathing a little heavy. "Okay, what is it you're looking for?"
I need a set of splints mail for myself. I'm about to go on a hunting foray, and I need some better armor than what I am wearing at the moment.
He looks down at what you're wearing at the moment and goes, well, that won't be hard. And to describe this guy, he is wearing what looks to be like some modification on the robe that all the students are wearing. It's like the same color, same design, but it looks really old and kind of ratty. His hair is completely unkempt. He looks kind of oily. And he's got like... he's pretty skinny. Like he just seems like he's a total hermit. Like he's super pale. Looks like he's never got out before. His eyes are like red circles. He looks like he has, you know how that... Have you ever seen someone after they stare at a computer screen for too long? That's what he looks like. And so he's inside. You see that there's like tools and little lamps, like light focusing lamps, and there's a small forge and stuff like that. And he says, well, I do have a set of splint that I did make recently, but it isn't cheap, and it isn't something that I will let... Oh, Jesus.
Dios mío.
It isn't something that I will let go to just anyone. I want to make sure that any armor that I sell going to someone who's going to appreciate it and use it. I do not make armor just for show. I make it to be used.
Well, this is Gilbert, Lord of Dunhall. Dubhall. He is...
Hubhole.
Yeah. Look
One
at
day
his,
you guys will remember the names of the cities.
Look at
This
his
lie is definitely never going to bite us in the ass.
Look at
Never,
his
never.
armor now. Look at the dinks on it. He clearly is an adventurer who likes to go out and scrape his armor. You cannot think of anybody greater to give this armor to, because no one else adventures as hard as he does.
Classic Donald Trump speech right there. He says, yes. Well, okay. And he like goes to this sort of other room, and as you look around, it's very dark, but it's like there's like a lamp on like desk, and you can see he was working on something very small, like some very small metalwork.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes out holding a box, a wooden box, and he puts it on a table, which seems to be kept relatively clean for this reason, but the rest of the room is not. And he says, "This is the splint mail I've been working on. It is of the finest quality, I assure you." And he opens it up, and you see literally super nice armor. So normal splint mail has these iron plates on it that are usually rough, and they're meant to they're meant to just kind of not look pretty all. They just like are there, and they take a beating, right? And they're like sort of squares or rectangles, and they're stitched into the leather. This he has polished them very, very shiny, and sort of done some sort of chrome plating or something, where he's plated it with something shinier, and he's like engraved into each and every splint this like great amazing pattern. And around like the collar area, like the shoulders, there's like these pauldrons that are attached and made of splint, but it's like so nice. They fit, like they lay perfect. And he says, this is a set of armor I have been working on for some time. I've recently finished it. Well, I've at least got it to the point where I'm happy with it. Nothing's ever really finished, is it?
I just want to say no. Nothing's ever finished.
He says, yes. Well, I can do this for you. And he takes it out and hands it over to you, and seems to be like, if you want to try it on, he doesn't really, he's not suggesting you to do anything. He's just giving it to you. He's handing it to you. He's not giving it to you for free, but
I will take it and just I admire all the work on it, and turn it around so I can see the back, and bring it to my eyes so I can inspect all the little stuff he's done on it. And I'm just this entire time I'm like, oh my god, this is the most amazing armor splitting armor I've ever seen. This is just amazing. And I just turn around and I just I'm like, this is amazing, sir. How much would you like for this, or do you think is worthy of this?
He thinks for a moment, and then he says, "Why don't you tell me what you think it's?"
Can I insight?
And he looks at you very
check him?
serious.
Can I insight and see what he thinks it's worth?
I mean, I won't be able to tell you a number, but I can tell you whether how he's saying it not because he wants you to name a price that is to get him more money. He wants to see what you think it's he seems to genuinely want to know what it is you think it is worth paying to get this armor. He's not looking for more money. He's looking for a real answer.
I believe this armor is worth probably over 400 gold.
He grunts and he says, sort of touches his chin, and he thinks, and he's like, yes. He goes over to his books, which he keeps in a so I want to mention the shelves and the tables, the working tables are all disorganized, but then there's a couple things that are really organized. The table in the middle of the room, which is what you're what the box was put on with the armor on it, and then also this one particular shelf with all the books on. He pulls out a book, turns to a page, uses his finger to scan down the page, and in immensely tiny, perfect writing, you see he's got ledgers of everything he's doing, and he turns the page. He's very twitchy, and he's looking, and he reads it, and if you were to try to read this, it would be too small.
Oh, okay.
How he can even read it is and he's like, the materials were 200 gold, and I spent more hours than I can even remember. According to the ledger, it was 200 hours. But you do seem to be pretty interested, and I do believe you'll wear it. There is one other property I should mention of this armor. You, having heard of me, know that I do not make just ordinary armor. I make only the finest. This armor is of particular quality. It is... Damn it, where'd it go? Hold on.
It's a plus 82 armor.
Plus 80,000 armor. You don't take any damage ever. No, it is...
Over 9,000.
It can never come off.
So it has a minor magical property, and I have to go...
Yeah, he's trying to sell you demon armor. Just never gonna come off.
Where the fuck is it? Oh, it's in the other book.
I put on the armor and I turn into a dwarf.
That.
You put on... So do you really want to try it on?
If he allows me to, yes.
Yeah, he totally allows you to. He wants it's clear that he's not interested in selling this so much as talking about it and interested in this thing that he's done, and he's really passionate.
Okay. Well, I will put it back down into the box and start taking off my old armor and give that to Thrust to hold on to, and then I will put on the new armor.
He shines one of his lights at you so that you can see what is going on, what you look like. There's no mirror. You're just looking at it yourself.
I just admire it.
Thrust can see it,
and I move around how easy it is to move. I'm
yeah.
Thrust,
It's
this is amazing.
really nice.
This is amazing armor.
Looks good on you, Gilbert. You wear it well.
So
I like to make believe thrusts with my sword and shield movements, just see how it would react. Because
Mm-hmm. He says, This is a new design that I've been trying out. And he points to this sort of mesh in between the scale mail. And he says, Do you see this?
yes.
This is in order to protect the wearer from daggers. Specifically, it is meant to prevent you from being stabbed. And thus, it will give you sort of extra protection. It sort of does this, and he takes out a dagger and literally goes to stab you.
I'm gonna trust him because he wouldn't try to kill somebody that's wearing his brand new armor.
Okay, he goes to stab you.
It
And-
stops 30% of the daggers, 100% of the time.
And he shows like that it doesn't pierce through. He's not poking you particularly hard, but like it doesn't quite pierce through the armor. And you can see like because of like the pattern of the rings and stuff like that, you can see that it's seeming to deflect the point of the dagger so that it can't quite set.
That is amazing.
And he says, piercing weapons, such as this dagger, tend not to take to this armor. And what that actually translates into is like,
Resistant to piercing?
so as much as I would love to give you resistance to piercing armor, if I did that, you wouldn't be able to afford it.
Yeah. That's that.
So what I will say is, what it does give you is, it does give you plus. I don't want to give it to something that is so hard to keep track of that like we end up forgetting it or something like that.
Immunity to daggers.
Plus 1 AC to
Immunity
piercing weapons?
That's what I was thinking. Is plus 1 AC to,
Okay,
to
yeah.
piercing weapons, but I'm not sure if we want to be able to keep track of it.
That's easy enough
I
to
think we
keep
can
track
keep
of.
track of it.
You just you just put
It
a
doesn't
seem-
yeah.
Put it in the
So-
armor description. I think.
So he says to you, okay, I can do. So you mentioned earlier that it would be 400 or more.
Yes.
And he says, I think that you are right. And he just looks at you. That's all he says. He doesn't say anything else. No context. He doesn't mention the part about you saying the 400 or whatever. He just says, I think that you're right.
God damn it, Jim. Now I have to go shopping in the morning.
Well, I'm a good character, so yes, you are. So I will take out my coin purse and give him three platinum and 100 gold.
A platinum is 10 gold.
Okay, we each got 350 gold when we got from that one guy.
Yeah,
So
35
and everybody
platinum.
said
Yeah, it was 35
that's-
platinum.
35.
Yeah, it's 10 each.
Oh, really?
It's 10, 10, 10. In 5e, they simplified it. It used to be like 10, 100, 1,000, and it's just 10, 10, 10 now. 10
Okay.
copper into silver, 10 silver into a gold, 10 gold into
So
a copper.
34 is 340 gold.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And okay, no, I'm sorry. I think I meant to say I'll give him 30 platinum and 100 gold. Would that be 400?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I meant to say. Okay.
Okay, so you give him that. He says, yes, thank you. This will fund my next project.
And you may see me again in the future, good sir. Would you like me to leave word with people when they admire my armor, or do you wish to be more left alone?
If they are like you and they would like to wear armor for armor's sake and not for show, then you may send them to me. If they are annoying, do not send them to me.
Very well, good sir. Now, you wish to keep my chain mail I brought here for parts, or do you wish to just have me take it with me?
He looks at it and picks it up and examines it under the light and goes, I can melt this, but I cannot give you any coin for it.
No problems. No worry, good sir. I'm quite happy with my new armor.
Okay, so he takes it. He like tosses it in a pile with like a bunch of other scrap. Like he doesn't even think it's worth wearing. Like clearly you wore it and it did a fine job for you, but like he literally looks at it, he doesn't.
Gotcha. Okay. And as I was like, come on, Thrust. Let's just leave him to his important work.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Was that armor that you had on before magical?
No, it was plain chainmail.
Okay. I thought I remembered you having something that never got dirty.
That was not me. I took
Okay,
the
never
sword
mind.
that glows in the dark.
Oh, okay. I think you were thinking about it and
Yeah, I was
okay.
thinking about it, I think.
Okay, cool. Never mind then. So he throws it in the pile, blah blah blah. You're good to go. And he says, "Okay. Well, goodbye."
Farewell.
And as we're leaving before the door closes, I go, before I go, the reason I was brought here is because a man named Gickver Hillcutt suggested you. I don't know if you know him or not, but he said to mention his name. And I thought since he brought your amazing work to me that I should at least mention it before I leave.
I believe that is the man that could not pay. That's all he says.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
And he
that.
like kind of grunts and he's like, I do not like him. It is best that you did not tell me that you were friends with him.
No, we're not. I wouldn't say friends. I just asked for the best person for armor, and he mentioned your name.
Mm-hmm. He is cheap.
Do you perhaps trade in half plate, just for future reference?
I can make anything, he says, and I have made everything.
Good to know. And then I leave.
I'm writing this down. It's +1. It's +1 versus piercing.
+1 versus piercing for your AC.
That's pretty freaking cool.
I thought so.
Yes.
That is cool.
It's
Thank you for
essentially
making
plate
it.
mail against piercing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it cost you twice as much. And if it had been a different character besides this guy, obviously it would have even more. So
Yeah.
Well, that brings my armor up to 20.
21 if it's
for piercing.
21
right?
for piercing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just so happy with this on the way home, on the way to the in their thrush. You just see me like caressing it and just like pointing like all the stuff out to you on the way. I'm like a child at Christmas.
It is
Yeah,
very
it's
nice
like
ammo.
very, very nice armor. You definitely would not have ever seen this in pretty much anybody else's establishment.
Most definitely. More than likely, I'll probably start to take up polishing my armor. Yeah. It's Thirst. I think I know where I'm gonna go when I need some plate mail.
Oh, I'm going back there once I have a lot of gold, that's for sure. Here's some fancy stuff.
He's very nice.
And that's me at least for before we go out.
Yeah, that's me too. That's all I plan on doing.
Okay.
I also
anything
do
else?
brief shopping just to buy luxurious clothes for everyone for future noble dealings.
Okay.
Well,
Although-
unfortunately,
So funny.
in the morning, I'm apparently going armor shopping.
Thrust's fancy outfit, it'll look really fucking eccentric.
Thrust already has
Like
eccentric.
everyone else's,
Thrust
it's
already
gonna
has,
be-
yeah.
twice as eccentric.
Oh, Thrust is into that. Give me all you can give me, basically.
Fanciest noble outfit that's just the most eccentric thing in whatever shop for Thrust.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
And Alex needs a new soft coat.
Something to go with dirt.
Something to go with dirt. Something that
No.
makes you look like an actual hobo.
Alex takes his soft things very seriously. Of all his material possessions, his feather pillow is super clean.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of one of the characters in the book I liked to read called Belgrad. Garoth had this entire outfit looked like a hobo thing, but he paid like 200-300 gold just so it looked like it was falling apart. But it was actually made very, very well.
I like
Designer jeans.
with holes in the knees.
Yep.
Nah, those are dumb. Alex is buying fancy jeans without holes.
He'll put the holes in him himself, god damn it.
There you go.
I've got my own acid at home.
I
Wash that
I don't know
shit.
how. I don't know how much gold five fancy outfits would cost, but I'll assume 3 platinum is okay enough.
Now-
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
It's super fancy,
yeah.
very, very nice clothing. Recommended
That's the
to you
fan-
by one of the guy at the hotel.
Like Thrust gets like a really fancy, almost musketeer-looking hat with just a giant feather from some sort of bird.
I'm just writing ostentatious clothes on my character sheet.
Yeah, that's the way to look at them. They'll actually be like very, very nice, and you may find that it is difficult to store them while keeping them that nice.
I'm just wondering how much of like of a jester I will look like in my fancy clothes.
Medium.
Thank you, Alex. This is a very nice treat. It's always
Yes,
good to
they are
get
very
new
nice.
clothes.
Very, very nice.
As he is saying thank you, Alex pulls out a small wooden case with a pair of glasses and hands them to Thrust, just because he's seen them while shopping and thought Thrust might like them. And I will send a picture.
Are they like the 50s lady glasses?
Oh man, those are amazing.
Oh, man, I'll wear them all the time. They go on immediately and never come off, basically.
Thrust Stampede.
This is... I've never quite worn anything like this before. I feel so fancy.
Is this the morning?
No,
This is the
Okay.
night
Oh.
before.
I don't know. I think it's the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think me Gilbert, Alex, and Thrust both got back probably at the end at around the same time, I'd assume.
Yeah, Alex spent a while looking for clothes just to kill time.
And then obviously your Wesley is making shit all night, so if you knew.
Ping, ping,
Yeah.
ping.
How does Wesley sleep, guys? I mean, he works all night, walks all day. I mean,
Well, I
does
think
his
he
kind
eventually-
sleep?
I'm pretty sure he eventually just gets worn out and passes out.
It's not a
Wouldn't
nice
that-
way to live, to be honest. Who wants that? It's just, sleep
Wouldn't-
when you're tired.
Wouldn't that hurt if you fell asleep in the forge? I mean,
Probably.
Probably.
Fire resistance, boy.
But not immunity.
Not the first time that's happened.
Just see Wesley in the mornings. Part of his outfit is burned.
You said you wanted to shop in the morning as well, Wesley, before we leave?
Yeah. Because I'm still wearing just leather armor. And if I can upgrade to studded leather plus something. So in the morning, I guess I just stumble in. I look terrible.
morning, Wesley, as loud as I can.
Can I have some water?
Look at Gilbert's
Before
new
you even
armor.
finish saying water, it's in your hand.
Aye.
Check out Gilbert's new armor. The Tygon was quite the...
Thrust,
Yes?
is that you? What are you? What is that?
It's Gilbert and his new armor.
No,
Yeah, it's very
you.
nice.
Your eyes, your hat.
Yes, it's
Yes,
also very
Thre-
nice.
Therese looks pretty now.
I was always pretty, Gilbert, but I look more pretty now.
I'm sorry. Now you're prettier. He's prettier.
Some would say prettiest.
I wake up a little bit when I see your armor, though. Oh wow, that's nice.
Isn't it nice and shiny?
Where'd you get it?
I got it from the guy. Okay, my stuttering is coming in. I got it from the from Tygon's shop, and he was able to make it for me. But his stuff, it isn't cheap, but it's worth it. I got this for 400 gold.
Mm. I wipe sleep out of my eyes and just wipe soot all over my face. Where is that? I might stop in before we go.
Okay, I actually just slipped a piece of paper which was given me to him. Just follow these directions, you'll make it straight there.
I take breakfast to go.
Now,
Wesley,
Yeah.
Alex will. You look at small pieces a lot, right?
That's a weird way of saying that. All right.
Tools, parts.
Oh yeah.
Alex will pull out a second wooden case, though this one actually looks nicer. Like the wood's got a fine kind of red tint to it. Little bit of leather bonding around the sides. And he will hand Wesley the case to open it and look at a different pair of goggles.
Oh wow.
We can discuss what these things all cost.
Oh,
I marked
that's
off 3 platinum, but it may be more. I don't know.
3 platinum or 30?
3 platinum.
Okay.
That's really nice of you, Mr. Verlin.
Make it 4 because that's pretty fucking interesting.
Okay.
But you're good.
that is cool though.
I figured they might be useful for you. It didn't look like the person was doing a good job of selling them. I don't think most people are interested.
Oh, holy shit, look at the item description. Advantage on tinkering checks.
Oh wow, it doesn't say that at all. I fucking knew that was coming too.
Advantage on tinkering checks.
At least like a +1 on tinkering.
Wow, it
checks,
says advantage
right?
on bullshit. That's crazy.
Hey, no, that's my player stat. That's me.
So,
Oh, that's really nice of you. How much did this cost? And I reach into my.
not much. I don't. You don't really need to. Just use them for your tinkering and stuff.
I make a note to look for something to make for you. And let it be known, I will have made something for a party member before I made anything for me.
Wow.
Because I made a ring.
Ooh, is the ring finished, Wesley?
I show it to him, and it needs a little bit more work. I need to file it right here and then burnish it all.
Oh, okay. It's looking very nice. That's very, very nice. Thank you for making the ring.
And breakfast to go.
And before you leave, I tell you some things about Tygon, which I learned he likes to likes you to talk about his armor and flatter and put some flattery out there, but mean the flattery. He's gonna tell if you bullshit him. And be prepared to pay out the butt, but it's worth it. Look how cool this is.
All right.
Okay, so you go over there and you knock on his door.
Mr. Tygon? Hello?
You hear this like terrible screech, like ah! What?
I'm sorry to bother you so early in the morning. I stayed up all night making stuff that I could understand. Can I come in?
You hear the door, like he's like fiddling with something, like a lock or something, and then he opens it and he goes, "What do you need?"
Uh, Lord Gilbert said he got some armor, and I would have come yesterday, but I was in the forge all night, and I was wondering if you had anything better than this. And I show the leather armor that I almost never take off.
He looks at it and goes, "Yes, well, that would be anything."
Yeah, I've had it for a while. It's like a second set of skin, literally.
He looks at you and just like, actually, he belches.
Right in the face.
I offer him some of my breakfast.
Yes. Well, what is it you're looking for?
I was wondering if you had any studded leather.
I have made studded leather. I prefer to work with metal nowadays.
Well, I do too.
Yes, well then you can understand why.
Yeah, if you get angry at it, you can just chuck it across the room and come back to it in a week.
Yes.
Not that I've ever done that much.
Why would you get angry at metal?
I get angry at myself because
Oh.
it doesn't do what you want all the time.
I do not know what that's like.
Shit, I was thinking we were gonna bond.
So,
No, this guy is an elite. Don't come to him trying to identify with your flaws. He's too good.
Probably come back when we're all level 20, and then he might respect you.
Nah,
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
Do you have any in stock that you made?
he says, I think so. I will look. Is there anything in particular that you are looking for other than the type of armor?
Well, I could honestly just get studded leather anywhere, but I heard you make really good work, and I'm looking for something a little special. You seem like the person to go to for that.
Special indeed. Well, you're looking for studded leather. Okay. He goes in the back and he pulls out 2 boxes. And he says, I have 2 sets of armor made of leather with studs. And he says, they're both
Well,
enchanted.
Now this leather armor could be counted as studded with me in it. I strike up a very lame pose.
He looks at you and says, shut the fuck up.
1d4 shame damage.
He just used vicious mockery on you.
He turns back to his things and he goes, well, this is what you'll need. And he takes one of the boxes and puts it back in the back room. And the other one, and he says, this has properties associated with it. I had it enchanted by one of my colleagues. Because, as you know, leather isn't very protective. I needed it to do something else. It has a particular affinity for missiles.
It's missile attracting. Sorry, Wesley.
And so
I
he
get my bullets back? Hell yeah.
he gives the box over to you and he says, please try it on.
I wriggle out of my stinking leather armor,
And it is-
shedding soot everywhere. Put it on.
Okay. You don't feel anything particularly magical because of attunement, but it feels super nice. The studs have like a have like a circular pattern on them, and the leather is clearly like super super fine, high quality leather. Like has that new smell to it. Like the straps are thick and wide where there are straps. It looks particularly like well designed. It's easier to take on and off than usual. You could get in and out of it in probably half the time that you usually would.
Okay.
Because of its simple design where there's only like you pull it on over your head and then you pull two straps, tuck them in, and you're done.
I make note of that and praise him.
He says, "Yes, I worked very hard on that design."
I mentally try to copy it in my head.
He looks at you and squints.
I'm just admiring it.
Yes. Well, he pulls out the same book. Well, you wouldn't know it's the same book, but
You
those
said you had
watching as flies on the
another
wall.
set.
You do not need that set. You need this set.
I never really take my armor off.
Exactly. He looks at you totally
You're
blankly.
saying my armor smelled.
I am now. He takes his book. He had his hand on a book, which he now takes out when you stop talking. And he looks down and says, "With the enchantment materials, it cost me roughly 50 gold and 50 hours of work to make that set of armor. What do you think it is worth?" He closes the book like with a snap. He puts it back without looking.
I'd say 13 silver. I mean, platinum. Other shiny.
Good
He
save.
says, 13 silver. I would kill you at your death.
Platinum.
13 platinum. 13 platinum is too high. He says, I will take 10.
All right.
Now get out.
Is this
I
like
this guy.
a workshop or?
It is, yeah, it's definitely, like, this is his life. He lives here, he works here. You can see there's like a room in the back, but you can't really see what's going on back there. It's too dark. It's very dark.
I think this is the type of guy who would kill anyone who touched his tools.
Mr.
Yeah, really.
Mr. Tygon, is there like a dummy in here?
Like to wear the armor? Yes.
Is it wooden?
No,
it's
made of
tiefling.
some sort of cloth.
Oh shit. So there's nothing I can shoot at. Mister, I'll show him my pistol. You work in magic and fine crafts. What would you say this is worth? Not that I'm selling. I'm just curious.
He says, I have no interest in that. I told you to get out.
Oh.
And then he starts like pushing you out the door.
I drop my breakfast. I get shoved out.
And he closes the door behind you.
But I grab my leather armor.
Your old one?
Yep.
Okay. He doesn't care. He's just like, goodbye.
Thank you.
Do not come back. He closes the door.
I'll see you next time.
I'm really liking that guy.
Him
So
and Conwin, best NPCs.
I keep looking at my shoulder at the straps, and I try to figure out a way to make a waterproof holster that's quick open with it.
I see. That is an interesting thing.
Seeing as how I can sleep in leather armor with no penalties. I'm gonna get utility out of this one way or another, DM.
Okay.
Oh, well, fuck. My AC was wrong, so I'm still at 16.
Rip.
I have +2 from my armor and +4 from my dexterity. That was useful.
Wait, was protection your fighter thing, or?
Fighter thing was archery.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
I'll keep going through in case I missed something.
Should we call it the year?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah, this is a good place to stop. We all have fancy clothes and armor, and we're all set to go kill some goblins.
Mm-hmm. We are.
I really like how this group is okay with doing role playing sessions and fighting sessions.
Yeah, we're pretty.
I thought this was going to be a fighting session, and that's what I prepared. Because I didn't think you were going to Lakemont right now. I thought you were going to go do something else. But I'm glad I prepared the farm, because that was good.
The farm was awesome, and I'm definitely thinking the
was.
pro version. I snuck on there while you were preparing something, and it's just they also have a $5 per month option.
Yeah, I paid $25 for the year, so that's like cheaper.
Yeah.
Maybe they changed their price. I don't know.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, it's getting late.
Well,
that
guys,
was
I
a
will
blast.
try to make it next week, but no promises.
Okay.
Would you want us to play your character or ghost your character?
Craft.
Craft everything.
Craft
Just-
delicious. He'll just stay behind and craft.
I'll one way or another, I'll write up what I'm going to try to do.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll have much time
Just
for crafting
dress-
if we're fighting, but
Dress thrust up like Alucard.
Oh, and Puddles, keep up your videos. I'm enjoying them.
Yeah, they're so good.
thanks, man. Both of
Also,
you.
I watched Court of Swords for the first time, like just before I watched that video, and it was really good.
Court of Swords is awesome.
So what one?
I was literally Court of Swords, where Adam Kobol's the DM. I've actually been watching a lot of his content lately
He's awesome.
since you recommended him. He's so good at like depicting things. I truly aim to be as good as he is about describing crazy shit.
Court of
He's-
Swords.
Yeah, Court of Swords is my favorite
Yeah.
show to watch. It's like,
And it's really
It's really
long
good.
too.
yeah, I would
There's like
start
shit.
from.
seasons.
Yeah, I would recommend starting. It depends, like what you're into.
I watched the
but-
newest one.
Yeah, I would.
Well, I
would go
just
from
found-
like episode 50 or something. They like rechange everything. It's really good.
I just found the Adventure Zone, so I've been watching that.
I haven't seen
I
it.
haven't
It's
seen that.
lighthearted.
Okay. Court of Swords is very dark. It's very. Yeah, they go.
I love me some dark shit.
Is it like Critical Role where like you watch them play
Yeah.
5e?
Yeah, it's a little different though because they do it on
similar
Roll20.
experience. Yeah, they're on Roll20, and it's like way low budget. But
The
like,
Adventure Zone is
it's
definitely
still good.
lighthearted. You know it's lighthearted when your wizard sounds like, well, I don't know what we're going to do here. But it's good.
I'll have to check
Well,
it
that
out for
sounds-
sure.
I don't need lighthearted entertainment.
Yeah.
also, one thing you guys may all be interested in is that the new Pillars of Eternity comes out in 2 days.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Pillars
boy.
of Eternity. I never heard of it. I want
It's a
to check
D&D
that
style
out.
game.
I think it's great
really
that you
fun.
could have. I think it's great that you could have Vox Machina with you.
Yeah, they've
In the
added,
game?
Yeah, in game they've added that. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's pretty
All-
nuts.
All the voice actors work for that company anyway, so they just did it.
Oh, Obsidian, really?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. I'm gonna have to. I still have yet to play through the first one, but I'm gonna do it soon.
God, I hope Scanlan is OP.
Of course he is. I'm actually on the last episode of season 1, so that's awesome. Or the second
Holy
last.
shit.
Second last
Of-
episode.
The first season?
They're just about to fight Vecna.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't
dude.
even finish the first season. I'm on the
Dude.
second now.
After you watch the Vecna fight, watch some play-by-play of Sam in it, where they actually like narrate what he's thinking and his choice of words.
It was fucking sad.
Okay, don't spoil
Yeah, don't
anything
spoil
because
it.
I haven't watched this at
yeah,
all.
I haven't
No, but
watched
like,
the last episode, so
No, it's just it's something you'll probably miss unless you watch a separate video where they're pretty much reading lips and shit.
Yeah, there's
wow.
3 or 4 major things in there that you just don't notice. And then you're like, oh, holy shit, he's a fucking genius.
he is a genius.
And this is for the sword one.
Critical role.
Critical
yeah.
Critical role, yeah.
Sam is a secret genius.
Not
Wesley, this will be your outfit.
secret.
That's your fancy outfit.
I like it.
I would like to gift everybody 100 XP for all the great role playing.
What was that?
And I would like to give an extra 50 each to Puddles and to Gilbert, who both of you did a fantastic job role playing, particularly today.
Thanks.
So I just
Did you
small.
say
It's a small
300?
amount, but I did not.
What'd you say?
I said 100.
100.
Each, and then
100,
50
okay.
extra to them. I don't know where you guys are with
We're pretty far
respect.
from level 5, but level 5 is supposed to
I'm
be
level
pretty
9.
hard to achieve. So
I want to give you guys experience for role playing and stuff, but I also want to make sure that like I get to still give you really hard fights that are worth a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.